Yes, I'm good to go.
All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started then. I'd like to welcome you to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday evening, May 21st. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles.
Here.
Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. Obviously, we have a quorum. Here in the town of Vinton, we use a moment of silence during that time. If you choose to pray or meditate, I hope you will. I plan to. I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. And while we're standing, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Lyles is in charge of that. Who's going to do that this evening?
Well, not to offend anyone, but the best dressed person in the room is going to do the pledge tonight, and her name is Maddie.
All right.
And she has the pretty pink dress on in the back.
All right.
Thank you, Maddie.
All right, Maddie.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, when we stand up, you can start our pledge after the prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Maddie.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, Maddie.
Thank you, Maddie. Yeah. And thank all of you, as a matter of fact. And with that, we'll move on to our community events. Sabrina, you have a list of those?
I do. Tomorrow, there's a ribbon cutting at the new pizza place, Marco's, at 12 o'clock. So we hope everybody can come out and show the support for the new business in the area. May the 22nd, the Vinton Area Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn with Home Trust Bank from 12 to 1 at the Charles Hill Senior Building. May the 27th, the offices will be closed in the town for Memorial Day. June the 8th, Vinton Area Chamber of Commerce Mingle at the Market. Triple Threat season opener will be at the Vinton Farmers Market from 6:30 to 10 p.m. June the 18th, Vinton Area Chamber of Commerce will be at the 2024 Regional Networking Event at the Salem Memorial Park from 11 to 2. The town offices will also be closed on June the 19th to observe Juneteenth. June the 22nd, the Chamber is also doing another mingle at the market with the 80s band. That'll be at the Farmers Market from 7 until 10 p.m. We do encourage, and the Vinton Museum will have their yard sale this weekend from 8 to 1. That's Saturday, May the 25th. It was postponed from last week with the threat of the bad weather. So go out and buy stuff there and help support the Vinton Museum. And as always, we do encourage you to visit the restaurants and entertainment venues in our community. You can go to the venue's website and social media for more information. And also for more information on everything that's happening in Vinton, please visit the In Vinton Facebook page and don't forget to like and share.
That's right. Okay, thank you very much. Lots going on. All right, with that, we'll move to our council activities. Laura, you have a list of that?
I do, yes, sir. May 13th, Mayor Gross and Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Finance Committee meeting. On May 14th, Mayor attended the Executive Committee meeting with the Chamber. On May the 15th, Council members McCarty and Mullins attended Public Works Committee meeting. On May the 16th, Council members Lyles and McCarty attended special called Community Development Committee meeting. On May 17th, Vice Mayor Stovall and Councilmember Lyles attended the Chamber Golf Tournament. On May 21st, which is today, I attended the May birthday luncheon, and it was wonderful. And I'm very appreciative.
Her birthday's tomorrow too. If you want to come out,
Yeah.
Marcos, you can sing happy birthday.
29.
All right. Happy birthday. 25 or just
29.
29? Okay. Okay.
Thanks.
Congratulations. Okay, with that, we'll move to a request to postpone or change anything on the order of the agenda. Anyone? Nope. With that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight, it contains the minutes of the regular meeting of May 7th, 2024. Are there any changes or additions to the consent agenda? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Did you get the names? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And now to the fun part of the meeting, the awards and presentations. And so we'll start with Public Works proclamation, since this is Public Works Week coming up, and you're a member of the Public Works Committee, right?
Yep.
So Councilmember McCarty has the proclamation for us.
Okay. Whereas public works services provided in the town are an integral part of our citizens, institutions, businesses, and industries' everyday lives and well-being, and whereas public support of the importance of effective and efficient public works services such as street maintenance, sidewalk repair, solid waste collection, recycling, traffic signal and sign maintenance, snow and ice removal, and stormwater collection, improves the morale of and performance of the public works staff, and whereas the health, safety, economic growth, and quality of life in our town greatly depend on these vital public works services, and whereas public works staff also provide critical response capabilities, experience, and support in times of emergency, and whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated people who staff public works is positively influenced by the citizens' attitude and understanding of the important services the staff provides. Now therefore, Mayor Bradley Gross and the Town Council of the Town of Benton, and on behalf of all the citizens, do hereby proclaim May the 19th, 2024 to May the 25th of 2024, as National Public Works Week in the Town of Benton. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Benton, Virginia to be affixed on the 21st day of May 2024.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. We certainly appreciate that. Council, you have any comments?
I would like to say that, of course, Public Works has a special place in my heart, and I would like to thank all the ladies and gentlemen who help make our town beautiful. They work tirelessly every day. Doesn't matter the weather. It doesn't matter if they have a million other things going on. They're always keeping it looking nice and working hard. It's mostly behind the scenes and often thankless and underappreciated, and I want you to know it does not go unnoticed by myself and the rest of council. We love you guys.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, I echo those comments. Of course, Public Works holds a very special place in my heart as well. They are very hardworking individuals, and I mean, out there when it's snowing, out there when it's raining, out there when it's 100 degrees, you can always find them out there. And I think that our citizens really appreciate them, and I believe that there are a lot out there that actually have a personal relationship with them, and I look forward to seeing them each week, whether it be mowing or trash pickup or whatever. So that's a good thing to know that our citizens think so much of our public works.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, I echo the same thing, but whether it's winter, fall, spring, whatever, when you come into Benton, and it's because of our Public Works Department. So,
Yeah.
our town's always clean. It looks freshly mowed. There's no snow. Well, it doesn't snow anymore, but if it does, snow is gone before it really hits the ground. So, very proud to live in this town, and it's because of people like our Public Works who take care of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sir?
I just love their attitude. I mean, how do you not like the attitude of everybody that works for Public Works? And those jobs aren't easy, as you very well know. I mean, you see them with mud and dirt and like, Keith just said, you see the complaints when people live in the county, actually, when it's snowing, and they're driving through snow 4 or 5 inches, and then they get to the town line, it's like driving through this room right here. So that's the biggest thing that I talk to the trash guys probably more than a lot of the employees, but I think their attitude's absolutely fabulous. And that's what you ask for when people are representing you and representing the citizens. So, yeah, hats off to them.
Yeah, you bet. I certainly echo all those comments. We are very honored and privileged to have such a great bunch of professionals in the Public Works Department. They know what they're doing, and they do a great job, and they're a real asset for this town. Our citizens really appreciate the work they do, and I hope all of the Public Works Department realizes how much they appreciate it. You guys do a great job, and ladies too. You do a wonderful job. We appreciate you. So thank you for what you do all year. Speaking of Public Works, our next item is the Public Works Rodeo Recognition. Bo, are you going to do that? And by the way, Bo, I have the certificates up here if you want to present them, but I'm sure council would like to shake hands with all of them too.
You're going to give them this too?
Yeah. I don't know if you just bring them. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, Mayor and members of council. Thanks for letting me come up here and speak on behalf of our team. Once a year, the region has an equipment rodeo, and it's different events. It's a bucket truck event, a knuckle boom, my trash truck, a zero turn, snow plow, mini excavators and things like that. We get to go off and basically show our skill set off. And we go in competition with Roanoke County, VDOT, the Water Authority, Roanoke City, Salem, Blacksburg, and other areas. This year we had the privilege on doing 2 rodeos. The first one on April the 10th, it was the Southwest Virginia Public Works Academy Rodeo, which is a regional event. And then the winners that placed in that gets to move to like a Mid-Atlantic event, which this year the Mid-Atlantic event was held April the 1st and was held here in Roanoke. So some of our guys that placed in that was also able to compete in that.
Awesome.
So I have 2 of my guys, Jason and Andrew. Y'all come up, please. We had 4 that placed all together. I hope I got this right. I tried to scribble this down. We'll start with Jason first. In the Southwest Regional one, Jason finished 3rd in the knuckle boom and 1st in the bucket truck. And in the Mid-Atlantic, he finished 3rd in the knuckle boom and 2nd in the bucket truck. Billy Robb, which is not here tonight, he finished 3rd in the zero turn and 2nd in the bucket truck in the Roanoke, the regional one in Southwest. And then the Mid-Atlantic, he finished 3rd in the bucket truck. Andrew, in the Southwest one, finished 1st in the knuckle boom and 3rd in the bucket truck. And then Chris Longhorn, in our Roanoke event, finished 1st in the zero turn and 2nd in the Mid-Atlantic. It's a big honor. It's a good competition. It's fun. Also with this too, there's an event that's in Atlanta, and it's for a national event, and all these guys that placed in that are also invited to attend and compete in that event as well.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah.
And then also too, another member of our team, Pete Peters, he won the executive challenge, and if I had to add, he smoked everybody. I think he practices. So it was a good event, and it's fun. It's good for all the localities to get together and have this competition and eat lunch together and things like that. So I appreciate the time letting the guys come up and
Yeah. Right.
If we add an event, the Santa Crawl driving has that nailed.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And there's quite a bit of difficulty to that. Yeah.
Bo, I saw a picture of the assistant town manager on a zero turn. Did that end the competition? And that
Yeah, he cleared out the course.
He did not come in last.
Oh, my goodness. Well, congratulations. Sounds like our guys did a great job. I'm not surprised at all. And so
they did
congratulations.
a great job.
Yeah. And wish them luck. So that's in Atlanta, you say?
Yeah, it's in September.
Okay, well, we wish you luck in that competition. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. And we will check it. So you got the.
Congratulations. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. And good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's a lot of practice on you.
Yeah.
Great job. See you.
Maybe did you want a picture with them or? Oh, okay.
Okay, sure. Yeah, well.
Jill won best scorekeeper.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. That's awesome. All right, next item, we see our good friend Rick is with us this evening, and I think you have a proclamation for the GBS CIDP. That's the closest I can get with that. I won't let you pronounce all those words.
Okay.
So if you would,
Y'all
please.
bear with me. Whereas the month of May has been designated as GBS and CIDP Awareness Month to educate the public and to focus attention on Guillain-Barré syndrome and chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, rare, paralyzing, and potentially catastrophic disorders in the peripheral nerves. And whereas the cause of GBS and CIDP is unknown, the length of the illness is unpredictable. It is characterized by rapid onset of weakness and often paralysis of the legs, arms, breathing muscles, and face. Usually, months of hospital care are required with patients and families facing an uncertain future, not knowing if and when recovery will occur. Some may face long-term disabilities of varying degrees. GBS or CIDP can develop in any person at any age, regardless of gender or ethnic background. And whereas in 1980, the Guillain-Barré Foundation International, now the GBS CIDP Foundation International, was founded to provide a support network to patients and their families through the national office headquartered in Philadelphia and its 180 chapters with more than 40,000 members throughout the United States, Canada, Asia, Europe, Australia, South America, and South Africa. And whereas Rick Forney is the liaison for the local area chapter, serving as the link between patients, physicians, nurses, and families. The foundation provides educational materials, including a comprehensive booklet, GBS, an overview for the layperson, and newsletters, as well as funding medical research and conducting symposia. And whereas the Foundation's Medical Advisory Board includes prominent neurologists active in GBS and CIDP research, leading physicians in rehabilitation medicine, and physicians who themselves have had the disorder. Now, therefore, Mayor Bradley E. Gross and the Town Council of the Town of Vinton, on behalf of all of our citizens, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as GBS CIDP Awareness Month in the Town of Vinton and encourage all the citizens to recognize the importance of raising awareness of GBS and CIDP. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Vinton, Virginia, to be affixed on the 21st day of May 2024.
All right, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And may I say, I'm very impressed. You hit all those words. Rick, did you have a few words you wanted to say?
Sure. A few words. I appreciate it, Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
gentlemen, Town Council. This is Awareness Month, and 16 years ago in December, I was unfortunately struck with this. Didn't know it. I drank contaminated water. Within a matter of 2 weeks, I ended up falling, shattering my femur, was out of state, and the doctor came in and within 24 hours looked at me and said he's not sure if I was ever going to walk again. At the age of 55, it gives you a wake-up call. I was fortunate that he diagnosed it correctly. The problem is a lot of people are misdiagnosed, and when that happens, quality of care goes downhill. They end up having a trach or a breathing tube, and things from there on are not good. I was fortunate, and I'm very blessed, and I appreciate Benton and the town council helping me raise awareness, because it's important to me to raise awareness. We just finished up a fundraiser in South Carolina. We raised over $11,000, and every penny goes to research. And I'm so proud of that, and I appreciate the town of Benton every year stepping up. I can't thank you enough, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, sir. We do have the proclamation if you would like that. Good to see you. That's my thing. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any comments, sir?
Rick, we appreciate you bringing that to our attention every year, and I was kind of kidding about all those difficult words, but we do understand it's a very serious condition, so.
Good job with the pronunciation.
She did.
Thank you.
She
Thank
did. She did a great job, but we appreciate all the work you've done in that area too, sir. You betcha. All right, next item is citizen comments and petitions. This section is reserved for comments and questions for issues not listed on the agenda. Anyone? Nope. Okay, we'll move on to our public hearing for this evening. This is in regards to the 2024-2025 Town of Benton budget. So I will officially open the public hearing, and we will start with the report from staff. So, Cody, good to see you.
Likewise, Mr. Mayor, members of council. All right. So, 2 weeks ago at the May 7th meeting, Town Manager Peters presented this budget, this proposed budget for FY25. So it's my privilege to give another brief overview of that, and then answer any questions and open the public hearing, leading us to the next steps. So this is our strategic plan. One of the things that we hold dear sort of in the preparation of the budget is we try to encourage all of our departments to tie their requests to the strategic plan. We try to look for ways to tie it in with this and ultimately make decisions within guidance of the strategic plan, because otherwise, why have a strategic plan? If you're not taking these steps each year with the budget to point in that direction, how will you ever get to where you want to go if you're not taking steps in that direction along the way? These are the budget highlights for this year. Personnel, as you'll see in some of the later slides, personnel takes up approximately 50% of our overall budget. We are a people-driven organization. That is where we give the most of our focus consistently, and it's where we get the most bang for your buck, if you will. So 3% cost of living raise across the board. That has remained unchanged from the initial proposal to now. That is in line with what the state has now adopted to do for state employees and what other localities across the region are doing. So we are keeping up with sort of our neighbors in the state and remaining competitive in that way. We have an end-of-year gratuity bonus that is built into this. We are a locality, a lot of localities started these bonuses towards the end of COVID using some extra ARPA money, and we have been fortunate with the relatively strong position of the town to continue to do this. And to my reckoning, we're the only locality in the valley that continues to do this and appreciate our employees in this way to this extent. And it really does show. The employees come end of year, Christmas time, holiday season, really do express a lot of gratitude for that. And the big one for this that is allowing us to do a lot of this is we have no change in our employee healthcare premiums. So we have reaffirmed that. Actually open renewal is going on right now. Forms were due back to Donna last week. So the employees will see no change in the premiums that they pay for the next year. So any kind of raise or bonus that they receive will actually be felt by the employees. It's not like we're sort of taking a little bit of away on the back end from increased premiums. Another note of this year that we wanted to point out is there are lots of one-time expenditures of funds in this budget, and some one-time projects, two notable ones, including Gish Mill performance agreement incentives for economic development and the comprehensive plan, Vinton 2050. Which have both launched. So we felt it prudent, since those are large expenditures, somewhere in the neighborhood of about $800,000, give or take, that we would use some fund balance to fund those. So it is prudent. You don't want to balance your budget on fund balance, your operating budget, but since these are one-time expenditures, we're going to pull down some reserves for that and get those projects done. So that is somewhat of a quirk in this one, that planned use of fund balance in the budget. And then lastly, one of the things that we wanted to point out is there are some debt service payments listed. So while the town does remain effectively debt-free, we do put out over $1 million of expenditures of debt payments that are reimbursed from other localities. So one of the good things to note about this overall budget is that when you see the bottom line number, if you will, of $14,800,000, roughly 7% of that, almost 10% of that is debt and reimbursed from other localities. So we're actually getting 100% of the work on 90% of the funds. So it's a great benefit that the town of Vinton enjoys from the services that they get. So this is the total funds number. You see it's an increase of 4%. Where we're seeing the most of that increase is in the stormwater fund. From a percentage basis, and what that is going to do is adding more projects. Ever since getting out of the water and sewer business, we've transitioned Public Works to doing more stormwater activities. This is some of the detail on the revenue side of the house. No major changes here. It is an 8.6% increase year over year. The vast majority of that increase is coming from what I call the consumer taxes. That's meals tax, sales tax, pari-mutuel, and business licenses, with an increase coming from the state for highway maintenance. The property taxes that most other localities are heavily reliant on are some of the lower revenue streams for us. So most of that income is coming from the consumer taxes. This is just giving an overview of general fund revenues. One of the things to really point out, I can't do it on here. We'll see a leveling off from the one-time payments of the Western Virginia Water Authority going away over the coming years. So we've dedicated those to capital projects as the revenues are flattened out, and then we start to see more natural growth as opposed to perhaps artificial growth from these one-time payments. This is evidenced, as I just said, in the real estate tax. This is sort of baseline and a leveling off over the coming years. No rate change proposed and no rate change adopted when you all adopted the tax rate, so staying at 7 cents per hundred. Personal property taxes, you do see that large spike that was in FY22. That's when the prices of used cars went haywire, and then we seem to have leveled off and would continue to level off and do some very light natural growth over the coming years. Same thing with state sales tax. We've seen increases year over year. One of the indicators of this is because it's on gross sales and because of inflation and everything's gone up, we're seeing natural growth here. Now, of course, we're getting it on the back end because we too are paying more for everything. So it's not necessarily a net increase or a net increased impact, but we are seeing those numbers on the gross side go up. Same thing for meals tax. That's a tax on the gross. So what we often ask, if you go and buy a hamburger, are there more people buying hamburgers, or does the hamburger just cost more? So why are we seeing the increase? And I think it's a little bit of a both. Our restaurants are seeing a lot more activity, but we do know that everything's more expensive. Business license taxes, I will add here, there's no tax rate increase proposed here. These are some trends that we are seeing. We do have a very robust business community in the town of Benton. We do seem to punch above our weight for the number of businesses that we have, for the size of community that we have, and the diversity of those businesses. Large, small, runs the gamut. So we feel confident that we will see some increases going forward. And then parimutuel tax. This one really only came online around FY18, FY19, and then has continued to grow. These funds are starting to appear to level out, but we still get surprises from time to time and are estimating an increase for FY25. And then these are hard to measure, hard to predict. We sort of react to what comes in, but we still like to dedicate a lot of this money to capital projects, especially to infrastructure projects. So I like to say this is how we pave our roads. We like to pave our roads using this money, because if anything ever happened to this revenue stream, that's something we could really easily pull back and punt on. This is the summary of the expenditures by major area. You'll see the largest, as mentioned previously, the largest increase is in that performance agreements. That is the one-time performance agreement for the Gish Mill property. And that is, from a budgeting perspective, it's not necessarily hitting the bottom line because we're using one-time cash from the fund balance to cover it. So if they meet their performance this year, we'll pull the cash out, we'll pay it. If they don't meet their performance this year, it's no harm, no foul. The other large increase is in community development of note, and that is coming from the comp plan. This is just showing it graphically. The thing to note here is that note on the side. Over half of our budget goes to the two departments of Public Works and the police department. So they represent approximately 2/3 of our staff and half of our budget. Here are the full-time positions. No change in the full-time position makeup proposed for FY25, although we are proposing outside of the full-time positions, 2 part-time positions, one in HR to give Donna some extra assistance and one in finance to give them some assistance. So we're actively recruiting for the HR position right now, since that money exists in the current year. And then this shows what mentioned previously. Approximately half of our budget goes to personnel. Half goes to personnel, half of the remaining goes to the operating beyond the personnel, and then we're doing capital and debt. Outside of that, we've been very fortunate in recent years to be doing lots of projects across the town and continuing to sort of push that money out for the benefit of the community. Speaking of those projects, this is the CIP. I will note this does look pared down compared to what we've seen over the past 2 years, roughly half of the CIP from last year. So while this is smaller, with one item, a purchase of a new refuse truck representing about half of this amount, it doesn't mean that we're not doing a whole lot. We're still hitting overall just shy of $1 million worth of paving, and between the comp plan, the performance agreement, and other one-time projects, especially in the stormwater fund, we still will be delivering a lot of projects for the community. Tonight's May 21st, so happy to have the public hearing, happy to answer any questions or review anything else, and then we anticipate adoption on June 4th. And on June 4th, if there are any changes that have gone into effect between now and then, we'll review those prior to adoption. So if you have any questions, happy to answer.
stability in our community, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that we, as you mentioned, Vice Mayor, are able to take care, I guess, of our employees. Everyone works hard and does a good job. We appreciate it. So I'm glad that this budget allows for that raise with no insurance increase. You know, one of the bottom lines, though, I think that we shouldn't forget, in the end, while I'm happy we can take care of our employees and all that, but this is all about what we can do for our citizens. And as you mentioned, we have been really, last few years, pushing a lot of projects out the door, and this budget reflects even more that's going to happen this year. So that's very exciting to me, the fact that we can do all that, not have a budget increase, but yet improve the quality of life here in town. So it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
And I would also, if I could take just a moment of personal pleasure, thank you and the Finance Committee. Actually, our entire staff, I know, works on the budget all year, but the Finance Committee has the extra burden of trying to explain this thing to me. Since I'm on the Finance Committee with the Vice Mayor, and you guys do a great job. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Okay. All right. Since we are still in the open public hearing section, I'll ask for any public comments. Any comments on the budget this evening? No? And we've already had council discussion and questions, so if there's nothing further, I will officially close the public hearing. And I'll mention that the action on this budget, in other words, the final vote on this, will be taken on June 4th at that council meeting. I don't see anything listed for items requiring action, so with that, we'll move on to our committee reports. Bo, you're up again, my friend, for the Public Works Committee report. It's your night, buddy.
I know it, right? Twice. That's all right. I like it. Not real. Not speaking. Good evening again. May 15th, we had our Public Works Committee meeting, and a few of the topics that we talked about. I'll go down the list here. First of all, sign replacements. About 6 months ago, we talked about replacing all the street signs and road signs and stuff throughout the town, and we got our first order in, and we started in the Midway section of Benton, and then we have completed that, and then we're moving to the Glade Town section. So we're working slowly but surely. Also with that process, as we're doing the street signs, we're looking at speed limit signs, stop signs, road crossing signs, just different signs. And that way, as we come to them, we're fixing them, cleaning them up, painting the posts, and making everything straight. So if you ever get a chance, if you go through Midway, you can really look at the signs and tell a big difference. They do look good. We have ordered our second order of signs. They have arrived, and that's going to be in the Valley High, Bush Farms, the Meadows, Hallihurst, Jeanette, Lynn Haven Circle area, Bowman, Madison, in that section. So we've ordered them signs. So as soon as we get done with our first section, we'll move on to the second section. But they are starting to look very good. We also talked about paving. Our 23-24 paving schedule has been completed as of last week. This week, the stripers are going to come in and stripe some of the roads that need to be restriped. Actually, I think they're coming in tomorrow. I think we put a notice out today about that. The main part will be Lee Avenue right there from Pollard, right there at the post office, all the way down to the farmer's market. And then there's a couple roads that just need stop bars replaced and things like that. But paving turned out real good. We have put out the bid. We went out to bid for the 24-25 schedule, and that has been received back and awarded. So we'll get with them after July and get a schedule out and get that done. Right close to $1 million worth of paving to be done there. So quite a bit of paving's been done the last few years. I appreciate all the funding and all the resources we have to take care of that. I've been here for 12 years, and the last 3 or 4 years, we've put a big dent in it for sure. So thanks again for that. Next subject we talked about was signal light improvements. We have ordered material, parts, signal light heads and wiring for the intersection of Virginia and Pollard. The parts have arrived. We're just trying to get it on the schedule to be installed. Hopefully we'll get it done in the next 30 days or so. With that being done, every intersection in the town would have brand new heads, brand new controllers, all wiring. We are having some glitches in some of the equipment. I think we've kind of got a better handle on it. We have the guy that did the timing setup about 6 months ago. We're going to have him come back in once we get everything installed to just retune everything, make sure we're all in the same place, see what we can do better. 2 of the intersections, we're going to put blinking yellows in. The intersection of Washington and Bypass, if you're coming from Byrd, coming to town, that left going on to Bypass, and then also the left coming off of Pollard onto Virginia if you're coming into downtown. That will also have a blinking yellow. That will help traffic flow a little bit. So it'll go green arrow first, and then after that lane dumps out, it'll go blinking yellow so they can get through there pretty quickly. I think the biggest impact you'll see on that will probably be right there, especially during the school season, right there at Bypass in Washington. Let's see. Also with that too, we talked about, Pete, in the committee, we talked about having RVTV come in when the guy does the timing and do a video to show the citizens exactly what goes on with signal lights. And, you know, when you open up one of them nice brand new aluminum cabinets, it's pretty amazing with all the wiring in there. So how we set up things, why we do, what's the process and things like that. So hopefully to give citizens a better understanding, you know, what we're looking at. It's just other than 3 lights. So next topic we talked about was the mobile home park on Cedar and Glade. We are going to demo that, and we're going to demo that starting the end of the month and grade that out so it'll be green space. So all them payments will be gone. Another topic we talked about was we had a citizen call in about a suggestion of making Lynn Haven Circle a one-way street. So we did talk about that. Staff is going to look into it. I think we're going to do some communication with the citizens on there, just tell them that we're going to do like a survey or a poll to see if they're interested in that. And then so the results of that will, if we need to, we'll go forward or not go forward, however the survey comes out. And then last but not least, we're getting closer, a whole lot closer. Mountain View Road project is scheduled to kick off anywhere between June the 10th and June the 17th. They have a couple more QA lab work type things they want to do to make sure we have the right mix. And then next week they're having a meeting, make sure everything's in place. And then that's, like I said, it's being scheduled to be done June the 10th. Start date June the 10th or June the 17th. And then that'll probably last, it's supposed to be done by August 12th before school starts back. So I know we're looking forward to that project getting started and being completed.
Oh, yeah.
Our next meeting is July the 10th. But other than that, one more thing. Public Works Week again. We're having our Public Works lunching this Friday for the guys and council members and staff to come through.
All right. Thank you. That sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I'd like to just acknowledge, I think we have some residents from Lynn Haven Circle present tonight.
Okay.
Right. So was that a good update for you? I guess we're going to do a survey. Is that correct, Bo?
Yeah. Yeah, we have not set nothing in stone. We're going to do a survey with all the citizens in that street, get the results from the survey, and then we're going to get back together and see which direction we need to go.
Let's come forget. Thank you.
It does a lot of traffic.
Mhm.
Excuse me, you can come on up to the mic if you'd like. Yeah, any of you, if you've got anything to say, we'll be glad to listen to you.
The circle, if you're on the far side of it, then it makes perfect sense, that's fine. But if you're the first one, if you can't make that immediate left, then we have to go all the way around the circle. And it's, it is a imposition. And, I just can't see where it's been like this for how many years? The area's been there since, 59 or something? And it's always been that way, and we've never had a problem. It does, like any place else, people have more cars. And you're going to see that. But I just think, and my fellow Lynn Haven, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then several others, it's just something that we're not happy with. And, it's great if you live on that far side, because you got to go there anyway. But if you live, like I said, where we do, where you make an immediate left, Amy,
and that first house.
yeah, so to do it right, Amy can tell you, she wouldn't be able to make a left into her driveway.
Yeah,
She'd
I would have to go all the way around the circle to get to my house, which is the first one on the hill as soon as I come up. In which, yes, I have 2 kids, husband, wife, we all have cars. And yes, we do line both sides. We can't line both sides of our street because we also have the stop sign on that corner. So we have to park on the other side of the street.
Gotcha.
And so, and 1 car in the driveway. So it would be a very big inconvenience for myself. And I know they have a problem on the other side of the circle, but.
What's your address? I'm sorry.
I'm 353 Lynn Haven Circle.
And I'm 341. And the thing is, I'm the 4th one in, and the young man that I gave you a piece of paper
Yes.
for, and then the lady, she lives on that particular area. She'd have to go out of her driveway. What's her name? The lady.
Oh, Stephanie?
Yeah. Stephanie would have to, instead of
Miss Woods.
coming out, she'd have to come, instead of going to let's say you're going to Food Lion, instead of coming out of her driveway and making a left, she'd have to go all the way around. And it's just, there's no reason for it. It's been like that since 1959. And I've only been there 15 years, but see where it's a big problem.
Mayor Gross, if
for us.
I may,
Yes, sir, please.
we had an individual resident of that neighborhood approach the town unsolicited. We did not petition this on our own. So, we did discuss this at length at the Public Works Committee meeting. Just because we had one citizen, we wanted to poll the other citizens who have a right, to have some input. So our Community Resource Officer, William Holland, we had asked him to do some informal polling to kind of get a sense of what the residents on Lynn Haven Circle, we don't live there. We are aware of what the road is and the conditions and the length that road has been there, the time that's been there. So we didn't want to make any decisions, and I suggested that to the council. Let's take our time with this and get some information back from the residents who live there before we made a decision that we would potentially, make a couple people happy, but we would conversely we could potentially make several people upset. So no decision's been made. We're just fact finding. This is to help us be better informed, to make a recommendation to council. Ultimately, you as a council would make this decision. We're just trying to arm you with the information you need to make a sound, educated decision based on all the population, not just the one single citizen. So I don't have a distinct time when this will be back. We have another Public Works meeting in July, so I think at bare minimum, we would have some information back from our Community Resource Officer at that time. We'll discuss it, if not beforehand, but no sooner or no later than July Public Works meeting, and then we'll we'll bring it before council. We don't have a good mechanism for citizens necessarily to ask for this type of information. Oftentimes they want speed bumps or yield signs or stop signs or speed limit reduction signs. So in some cases, we look for experts like engineers, traffic engineers, and we'll hire their services to help us make those decisions. This is based off of the residents who live there. So we don't need to ask anyone other than our residents what they would like. So in this particular case, that's what we're doing, and we'll come back with some education and some recommendations for council to consider.
Yes, just so you folks know, we serve on different committees, we all do, and we have two people that serve on the Public Works Committee. And this is actually the first time tonight that we saw it on the agenda, of course, but that it's come to council. So it's come to us, so it's not like...
Your officer might have gave some information incorrectly. We were told if we didn't come tonight, that we needed to come tonight.
My apologies.
Concerns. That's okay.
You having to come out, but
I'm
Misunderstand.
glad you came, though.
Right.
Yeah, good to see you.
Is that if it's going to be the decisions made down the road, you might miss a person, I mean, it's whoever shows up. If it's like that, gosh, I mean, she called me today. I had no idea until she called me and I went, oh no, you've been making that left.
The intent was not necessarily to do anything other than to have people come up. We didn't need, our goal was not to have folks get upset about it. We just wanted to kind of poll and see where people stood on it.
Well,
obviously, there's a big loop, and the folks that are close would not be in favor of it necessarily, and the folks who are on the other end potentially would be very convenient. So we just wanted to kind of see. For as far as we knew, 100% of you could be in favor of it. I mean, you all may have a walking group and it would be wonderful. So the intent was just to do some casual polling, because if we had 2, 3, 4, 5 people against it, we didn't need to consider it any further. So that's all. And I apologize if that was miscommunicated. In hindsight, I should have delivered along with him something in writing to properly inform you. So my mistake there. But we were just trying to get some information to make an informed decision.
But we appreciate you coming, and now you kind of know no decision is being made, immediately, and nothing like that.
Even on the other side, not we're around and then we're in the beginning of it that way, but even on the other part, I'm sure those people go and turn left. They don't go all the way around that circle. They have a driveway. It may be a driveway and, are on the right side of the road, but the ones with the driveway, I'm pretty sure I've seen them just back out and go back that direction, not.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
So you basically thought you'd be, if you went ahead and put a one-way, you'd only have that little tiny section at that farthest end that would be satisfied for whatever reason, because if you put a one-way sign, you're impeding the choice to go left or right. And I mean, it's silly to go ahead and go all the way around the thing, to just go to Food Lion, especially Amy. Amy would have to come up. She lives on the corner, look at her house, go all the way around.
She'd be the last one in, the first one out.
I just think it's been this way for so long, and there hasn't been a real big problem. If it's once in a while, the trash truck something like that comes through, and he has to wait a second, they don't mind. They're nice guys.
Yes, they are.
And the school bus driver doesn't mind. She waves, and the other guy too. I mean, they're really super nice people. I don't think it's big. It's not.
Well, that's why we're here twice a month. We appreciate you folks coming and letting us know how you feel about it. And as the town manager mentioned, this was just a response to a citizen request. Believe me, before we did anything that drastic, there would be several meetings and things would be hashed through a lot. So.
Say too that I'm looking at it, and there's 36 homes here. you can tell how serious like the town is. If one person complains, we're going to look into it. So, but we've got to get the other 36 people on board before we make any changes. So it's highly unlikely that one person's going to change 36 other people's or 35 other people's minds on this. So, but we do take every single complaint serious. And like the town manager said, maybe it was misunderstood that you guys thought we were just going to make a change tonight and put a one-way sign up tomorrow. It doesn't work that way, but if you ever have a complaint, all you have to do is take one and it'll come and we'll find out about it. So we do take everything pretty serious, but we don't do drastic changes overnight.
Good. And
Well said.
creatures of habit. And I was a bus driver for many, many years, a city bus driver. And when they changed Campbell Avenue to one way, I cannot tell you how many times, for creatures of habit, people would come down. I mean, they just keep on doing it. And this is not like a big city where you've got people, an influx of different people. So you've got some that are, they see that it's one way, but you've got people that have been there for so long that they're creatures of habit. And, they're going down the wrong way it took a long time for people to get used to that.
I can imagine.
A little tiny bit of a community.
And it's residential, so.
Yeah. Well, believe me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And for the record, they gave us 2 sheets of paper from 2 more citizens.
Awesome.
That were missing, so I'll give those to the clerk.
Okay, great. So I take it then we're still in the process of starting the survey, or where does that stand now?
Perhaps a member of the Public Works Committee would like to
Yes,
details on our level of discussion, because we did discuss this.
we did, and we just met the 15th, so Wednesday, and then we were going to have Officer Holland come out and get that with the chief and get that all squared away. So it's at the very beginning stages of even polling. But we did talk about it at length because we can't make any rash decisions based on one call.
Right.
Also,
Okay.
I wanted to say this. I don't know, I don't want to start anything, but I noticed that the name on the person that wanted it is not even on the property owners. It's a relative, I guess, but I don't know. But anyway, because I was looking at the name, and the name, I didn't see the name when I went to the GIS. I tried looking it up and there's nobody by that name. So if you do take a vote, please make sure that it's people that own the place.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here and certainly appreciate your comments. Means a lot to us. Thank you. So, was there anything else, Bob?
Any more questions?
No, let me, before we let you go, let me just mention a couple of things that you touched on. First of all, the traffic light project. Mm-hmm. That's a huge project that you guys have done, and I think, I don't know where I heard this, I think some of our traffic lights were approaching 50 years old. Is that right? Yeah. And so this is a major upgrade of our infrastructure in town. So naturally, anything that's that big a project, it takes a while to tweak it and all that. Yes. So I hope our citizens will be patient with us as we do that. But I'm very excited that we can do something that will hopefully last another 50 years.
Oh yeah, I hope so, definitely.
Yeah, big impact upon this town, and so I applaud you guys for hanging in there on that one. I know it's been quite a project, but I think it'll benefit all of us. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you.
You bet. Council?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about the signal lights. It's nice. We've got new ones. If you need an extra one, you can go ahead and take the one from Clearview. We sat there for so long, we just go right through it. So if you want to put that one back in storage and just get rid of it, we'll give you another one.
Only thing you have to do is call me, because every time I get up there, it's working fine. We talked about it in the meeting too. Unless it's acting up and when we get there, but we can get a phone call at 8 o'clock and I get there at 8:05 and it's perfectly fine. I don't understand. I mean, it's just, I guess I'm scared. I don't know. But we have been working, and we know there's concerns, and so we're still tweaking it. So hopefully, when the guy comes in for the signal lights, he can point us in the right direction. And he's an expert. He does this. He goes all over the country and does these signal lights. So hopefully, he can kind of tell us what to do, what our problem is, educate us a little bit. So go.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Like I said, I think it's really been an important project. I can see where it will benefit all of us, traffic flow. Let's face it, the traffic's not going to get any less, so we have to be prepared to handle it. So, an important project. Yep. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thanks, Beth. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next committee report is Finance Committee. Mr. Andrew King.
Hello. I know it's been a while since y'all have heard about the budget, so I'm going to touch on that for a few minutes because that was a big component of our last Finance Committee meeting on the 13th. So Cody went over it really, really well in depth, but I wanted to hit on a few other few things that we'd already discussed, but just to kind of reiterate some of what I think are the most exciting aspects. So there was general fund growth of just shy of 10% year over year, which is always a good thing. The CIP of $660,000, again, that does seem lower, but paired with all the work that's rolling over and Mountain View and some other things that aren't necessarily included in this year's figure, that's a much larger number. Of course, the Mountain View Road full depth reclamation, that's going to be a shared project with VDOT, and that's not included in this figure. 3% increase for all employees with Christmas bonuses of $250 to $500 for part-time and full-time. No increase in the cost or the change in health coverage for employees. Revenues were budgeted very conservatively, so no new restaurants were considered when we looked at this. We've had Marco's open. We anticipate Taco Rita at some point this year, so no new restaurants were considered. This was just previous year numbers that were used. So we hope to see our meals tax numbers really exceed what we have put forth, but again, conservative in that nature. And also no possible mid-year change in parimutuel increase. We talk a lot about how our activity at Rosie's is based on a larger pool, not just activity in our local area. So there's a large parimutuel facility that's going to be opening later on in the year that's going to have 2,500 machines, so about 5 times the machine capacity that our Rosie's has, and we hope next year to benefit from that addition to the pool. So none of that was considered in this year's revenue increases. And then just to reiterate, no tax increase. Any changes that folks see is going to be based on the assessment, the value, rather than the tax rate increase. So, and that's about it that I wanted to touch on the budget. But looking forward at financial statements, we looked at March, end of March for this past Finance Committee meeting. So March is going to be the 9th month of the fiscal year. So you'd like to see about 75% of revenues and expenditures. We were just shy of 75% at 68% in revenue generation. That's not a real concern because we hadn't yet gotten to the spring tax collection there. So outside of first half real estate and personal property, also coming in the spring, we've got bank franchise tax, business license revenue. So there's a lot of revenue that starts to come in April, May that really kind of makes up the end of the fiscal year. So the fact that we were at 68% through March was not a big concern because we'll see that number grow exponentially when we look at April, then through the end of June. Grant fund, is always operating at a deficit, and that's because we're constantly waiting on reimbursement for grants that have been out. So right now, or at least through the end of the March period, we're waiting on 2 reimbursements for projects. There was one that we actually received earlier this month in May that we've been waiting on for nearly 6 months. That was a pretty substantial project. So we'll see that activity soon. Utility fund is still got a little bit of activity in it, and really we're keeping this project open, or keeping that fund open through the end of this year. So any activity there is really just going to be used to close the fund out and fund any last minute changes we have to make there, any last minute expenditures or anything that has to be done to properly close that fund going forward, since the transfer itself took place so long ago. Right. And then wanted to touch on cash balances. So Cody had talked about, consumer activity is, or consumer-based revenues are our biggest revenues in the town. So we're constantly watching how those revenues are, if they're changing, if they're remaining active, and luckily so far they are. So because of that, rates are staying higher. Inflation hasn't come down all the way. Consumer activity remains high, so rates are remaining high. And what benefits us the most is our interest rates on capital fund investment is remaining high. So we continue to earn at minimum 5.25% on all investment dollars, which is pretty substantial, and all indications show that we're going to continue to earn that for some time. So again, we do house that money until we can properly spend it on approved projects, and there is a plan to use that in the best way possible going forward when contractor availability and really staff availability make the timing for those projects come to fruition. But again, March is kind of the bottom of where we like to be in the fiscal year. It represents a lot of the expenses before we get to that final revenue charge going into spring billing, and we have weathered that period, and everything looks good going forward. So, do y'all have any questions about anything, specifically budget or financial statements or otherwise?
Good.
All right.
Questions or comments?
Good job.
Okay. Then,
Very good.
Then I would need a approval for the financial statements from March.
Is there a motion to approve the financial statements for March 31?
Go ahead.
I'll second.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second?
All right.
Second.
Okay.
I thought Mike was.
We're all in favor up here.
We all say yes.
Did you get that into? Please call it.
Yeah.
Go.
I don't have to.
Oh, okay. All right. All in favor of approving the financial statement, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Sorry. Okay, and with that, we will move on to the appointments, and I understand that you have some information.
I do. I have 2 requests for reappointments to the Planning Commission in June. The first request is to reappoint Keith Lyles as a member of the Planning Commission to a new 4-year term, beginning June 2nd, 2024, and ending June 1st, 2028, and Jonathan McCoy as a member of the Planning Commission to a new 4-year term, beginning June 7th, 2024, and ending June 6th, 2028.
I'm sorry, who's that first name again?
Oh, we don't know him.
Okay, Council, you've heard the nominations for the Planning Commission. Is there a motion to approve our 2 members, Keith Lyles and Jonathan McCoy?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay,
I'll accept.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
should
One
be-
thing about it, I will give it to him. He is passionate about serving on the planning commission.
Yes.
He didn't know him a minute ago, so.
And I just looked him up on Facebook real quick, found out who he was.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
It's very rewarding planning this town, and especially with the comp plan coming up and planning what this town's going to look like in 2050.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting. Yes, yes. Okay. All right. I don't see anything listed for the town attorney. Jeremy, good to see you. I got to wonder, are you here under duress tonight? I noticed you don't have a tie on. I don't think I've ever seen this happen.
Mike included me on the text message.
You got the memo, right?
Finally belong.
Always good to see you, and I know you got a lot going on for the town.
Yes, sir. Always do.
Yeah, and we appreciate your hard work. Mr. Town Manager.
Just a couple of quick announcements. Speaking of the comp plan, Keith mentioned we have scheduled our advisory committee date, so that's well, the comp plan itself is well underway. I know council and planning commission, several of you have met with the consultant. The advisory committee is made up of citizen stakeholders, of different business owners, residents. Very, very excited about that group coming together too. So that process will get started in June, and then we'll actually have the individual buckets that will kind of get underway. So there'll be plenty of opportunity for citizen engagement, citizen feedback along the way. But we're off to a really good start. And I won't belabor the point about Mountain View, but that is on the horizon. So refer folks, if you get questions, refer folks to the transportation page. That's where we're making our updates. Thank you, Debbie, for writing the article last week. Cody for putting that information together. There will be more information. There's I believe the 29th of this month, there's another pre-construction meeting. So the folks who will be doing that project will be getting together. There's been numerous conversations with utility companies. The markings that you see out there are just simply so we know where they are. That's not suggesting that they're going to be digging anything additional up. That's just so that when they're doing the actual construction, they know where the utility lines are. Anything that needs to be moved, in theory, has already been moved that we know about. So as best as we can control, we've communicated, we've had those opportunities with our utility companies to make sure that we're prepped for that construction project.
Yes, sir. I think you told me a year ago, last October.
It was in October. I personally wrote a letter to all the utility companies, but Bo continually meets with them. And this is a VDOT administered project, so they also had a number of conversations with utility companies. So they've had adequate opportunity to make the edits, to make the changes they need in that road corridor. That doesn't mean that we've missed something or haven't missed something, but we've done our due diligence to try to make sure that we've given everybody ample notice and ample opportunity. Crosswalks, Gus Nix Boulevard as the first one. They poured some concrete last week. You've seen some single lane closures from time to time. That will continue for roughly another couple of weeks at that location. I think it's scheduled to go through first week of June, and then they'll transition over to Gus Nix. So just be aware of that. If you get any additional information or questions about that, you can also go refer folks to the transportation page or to staff, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Shannon does not know I'm going to do this, but Shannon is here for a different purpose. But she's very instrumental behind the Latinos Network, and they're doing a big event this Saturday called Latinos Dream Big at Thrasher Park. The town is a sponsor of that event, so good luck with that. And just wanted to I'll send that information, that flyer, out to council so that you're aware that has been finalized, I believe. But I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but. You're very welcome. And thank you for all you do for that community. Appreciate it. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
And I believe you might be here for an additional reason too. You mentioned the leadership.
I moved here in 2009, and I'm super grateful that this is where we landed. And to reach out to you and ask for support for this upcoming event and have it be so well received, and to get that sponsorship to make it happen. And being here makes me feel a little more included and connected, and I'm just super appreciative of all the work.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank
You can come back anytime.
Yeah, you betcha. We'll get you a special seat.
We love to see people in here.
Yeah, we do. It's good for, we like our citizens show up and express their concerns as well as their compliments. So thank you. Thank you very much for that. And I'm glad you chose our council meeting to visit. A little more, a little less formal, let me say, than some of them. But we do believe we are about important work, and even though we try to make it an enjoyable evening, we do try to get important things done at these council meetings. So I'm glad you're here. And good luck with the festival too, by the way. Let me ask you one question. No, I don't think I'm putting you guys on the spot. A couple of times tonight I've heard the figure $1 million in paving this year.
Yes, sir.
That does not include Mountain View Road, though, right?
Yes, sir.
So with that, what kind of figure total are we looking at?
So for the current fiscal year, that's scheduled to end June 30th, we have done approximately $1.8 million worth of paving. And then 500,000 is our contribution on top of that for Mountain View Road. So Mountain View Road is $1 million project of which we've contributed half. So total investment from the town for road infrastructure is approaching $2.3 million for the current fiscal year. And then we have budgeted approximately $850,000 for fiscal year FY25 beginning July 2024, with the potential to increase that if needed based on demand.
Wow, thank you. That's a lot of paving.
Mhm.
So, and it shows our town is really looking a lot better. So we appreciate that. And I got off track. So we'll get back on track. And, anything else from Mr. Manager? Okay, thank you, sir. We will turn it over to council. Vice Mayor, you have anything further?
Go down on the other.
Okay, we'll start on this end. Mr.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Hey, the golf tournament from the chamber put on was really nice. I think they set a record for the turnout. It was 134 golfers. It was an all-day event. There was 2 teams teeing off on each hole, so it took all day. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of support for the chamber, so they could see that beautiful weather. My partner I was riding with could have been better, but I mean, it was still fun.
What about you?
Jeez, I'm sorry.
You can't hit a golf ball with somebody. You can't hit a golf ball with somebody talking the whole time.
I'm
I'm gonna take a side with me next time. It says
I really
quiet.
appreciate you guys coming and voicing, your concerns. Again, it is nice, but I'm glad you're here because you can see how this council and staff takes just one complaint serious. So don't lose any sleep, or it's not a done deal or anything like that. But I do really appreciate you guys showing up for your community and your neighborhood and voicing your opinions. And you got to see how seriously we take things. So last great budget, Cody, Andrew. Looking forward to next year's and all the improvements that you guys make.
Oh, thank you, sir. Maybe you have anything further to say?
Yeah, I just want to say congratulations again to the guys in Public Works, and thanks for showing off Fenton for us. And I hope you get to go, if you want to the next level. So let us know if you want to go. And I do want to thank all the citizens that came out. We don't always have people in here, so it's kind of nice.
It is.
Yeah.
Somebody, to look at and listen to. So thank you for coming. The only way you can get things done and the only way we can get things done is to know what you need for us to do. So we'll take everything very seriously and get back with you.
Really that nice this town has evolved in the last few years. It's amazing.
It is.
The new restaurant and anytime and another thing, anytime I have a problem as far as something that has to be done, I call and it's immediately taken care of. I mean, what place can actually say that? Not very many. It's just really, here lately, it's just been a joy. Really good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, you too are welcome back anytime.
Back to speak.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Lori, you have anything for us?
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. Congratulations to our Public Works guys, and tell the gentlemen that couldn't be here, the guys that couldn't be here, that congratulations. We'll see them Friday, hopefully. I'd like to give a little shout out to a little place that people might not know about. It's Patina Creek Jewelry. They've opened up a little place right here at the Earthworks Pottery, and they do like the permanent jewelry where they solder it on. It's very fun little activity for girls or guys or whoever. It's lots of choices. The lady's very nice, and we started my pre-birthday celebration this past weekend doing that. So check it out.
Oh, very long. Now, Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to install a spike strip in front of my house on Mountain View Road. So let's make sure that we make sure all the utility companies know. And if there's not a break and they can stop on Mountain View Road, boom, sabbatical. It's more like
We putting spike strips.
I do want to thank you folks from Lemon Haven actually for coming naturally. And, we want to hear from you, and I will tell you this on behalf of the staff and the police chief and everything. We will vet this issue all the way through. I think you mentioned 36. So, we want to hear from at least the majority. And, in this game, naturally, we won't probably get everybody, but the majority rules. So naturally, thank you for coming. I do want to bring up, because I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I was talking to some people this past weekend, just for the purpose of staff to take a look at that parking lot between the farmer's market, the post office, and behind Twin Creeks and that. We put that in, and then it was brought to my attention this past weekend that there are people that are parking there long periods of time, and I by no means am I asking for, because I know it rubs people the wrong way, the no parking for patrons only for 2 hours and then no enforced. However, it would be nice to have, kind of like on the street, I think, maybe a 2-hour parking sign that we could possibly look at. So if you just look at that for me, I'd appreciate it.
We also delivered, just so council's aware, we delivered personally letters to each downtown business requesting that they not park at the premium parking for their customers, but they park at the new parking lot, which is a little further removed. So, but point well taken, and I'll work with our chief of police, see if we can, and public works director, see if we can make some additional amendments down there.
And
I
not be
always
a
said-
permanent overnight parking place for some people, right? Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry, what was that comment?
And not be a permanent overnight parking or weekly parking overnight, weeks at a time for the same cars over and over. Taking
Thank you very much.
Get it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Geez, by the time we get to the mayor section, everything's been said once or twice. So as I did, no, that's fine. Just not to beat a dead horse, so to speak, but the comp plan is so important, and our citizens are going to have opportunities for input on that. So I hope you'll keep your eyes open for that, because really, really important. Now to be coming up this summer, as Mr. Lyles mentioned. Really excited Mountain View's getting started after all this time, but we want it done right. One of the problems is before we could pave over it, but it didn't have a good base. This time they're going to go through and mill it up, and what's that process called? RFD? FDR. I got it backwards. So.
Like the president.
Yeah. Oh.
Making that fracking Delano Roosevelt.
Well, anyhow, we're going to have a good base there and good pavement, so hopefully it'll last a long time. Our folks like to do things in a professional manner. It's something that will obviously benefit the town, so we appreciate that being done so well. To your comment about things being taken care of when you call. That's because of our staff. And some of these folks get tired of hearing me say this, but things are going well in town for several reasons. Number one, the Lord continues to bless us. Secondly, we have a great staff. I mean, they are strong. They are very responsive. They do a good job, you know. Yeah, this is she does awesome. And of course, we there's no doubt, and at least in my mind, our citizens are very supportive at this point. You know, there's a lot going on, so it does take some patience to get around all the progress sometimes. So our citizens are very supportive. And of course, lastly, we have a mayor and town council that takes credit for everything. So. But good to see you. So I'm certainly glad all you folks are here. Anything else to come before council this evening? Nope. If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by leaving. Thank you, folks. God bless you.